here, it all goes deep into the back of there. It's called the Priory, and I was diagnosed there. What's going on in my hair? So it is a Wednesday in the middle. Oh no, the start of September. I don't know why I said middle. And I am taking you on a journey. And also, one thing I find really interesting is I don't think I'll ever get used to the fact that the Tesla, you don't need a key, you just use like your phone. So I walk up to the car, I open the door, and in we come. So we are going to a place called the Priory, which is near here. On my Tesla map, and the reason I'm going there is because I'm taking you on a journey of my diagnosis, a journey of like where I was diagnosed, and we're going to talk a little bit about that kind of stuff. So without further ado, guys, let's get on with this video. Okay, so you can see this, there's like a housing estate here right behind me. This is where the clinic used to be. So this clinic was actually called the Priory, and one of the interesting things about it is that it went, what? I'm not making a video. That guy just asked me what I was doing. He was like, "You taking a selfie?" I'm like, "No, I'm making a video, bro. It's my job." Anyway, so this whole housing estate behind me here, it all goes deep into the back of there. It's called the Priory, and I was diagnosed there back in 2013. So I was diagnosed with Aspeger syndrome, ADHD, back in 2013, and since then they redeveloped. Sorry, my hair's crazy. What's going on in my hair? They redeveloped all of this land and changed it into a housing estate. It's pretty weird being back here and not having a clinic where I go see a doctor here. It's really weird, but it's really cool. And there's something more important that happened recently, and I'll tell you about it when I get out to the car, because this wind is kicking my butt. Okay guys, so we're back in the car, gonna set my AC down. Have you ever seen the AC inside a Tesla? Check this out. So this is your AC dial, right? Ooh. But the cool thing is, if you want to change the position of the AC, you have to kind of like split it and do all this kind of stuff. Anyway, I think it's quite interesting. Okay, so why am I making this video? What was important about the fact that you know, the clinic that I was diagnosed in back in 2013 has now closed, and there's a housing estate there? Well, one of the things is I have a huge issue with change, especially change around things like, you know, when they redevelop buildings or they redevelop the town's kind of like core infrastructure, and you kind of, you know, I've grown up here all my life, and I get used to seeing the same things. When shops close and stuff, it's really depressing. But check this out. My really good friend Jake, who I'm in a band with, FYI, if you haven't checked out my band, they're called Straight Jacket Legends, and I'll leave a link somewhere in this video for you. Jake and his family, he has 3 kids, and they actually moved into one of these houses here in the Priory. And I find that really, really interesting. So that if the clinic was never shut down and they never redeveloped it, then Jake and his family wouldn't have anywhere to live. And it's such a blessing that he has somewhere to live. So change brings about sometimes some really, really good aspects of life. And this is something that we kind of usually forget, and this is why it's hard to adapt to change, because we have this idea that life is permanent and it's always this certain way, but in actual fact, it never is. Now, the Priory closed, and I had an updated diagnosis online, and my updated diagnosis actually with the neurodiverse clinic in South Africa, they actually did a big assessment with me using all the right kind of, like, you know, the disco and the ADOS and stuff like that. And basically what happened is they said that it's now ASD level 1, so it's kind of like, it's different. Like, it used to be Asperger syndrome, now it's ASD. So the updated diagnosis was that. But this was the Priory, and no, I didn't get diagnosed in a housing estate, but I was actually diagnosed in a clinic. Okay guys, we're going to change location now. We're going to drive somewhere else. It's just I wanted to talk to you guys a little bit more about diagnosis and diagnosis process and what that means to a person. And yeah, let's get going. putting a hoodie on because like it's so windy, dude. It's like, you know when like the summer goes and like that first week and you're like, yeah, it's gonna be autumn very, very soon. I feel like it's doing that. So here's me in a pink hoodie. Also, I keep obsessing over like, I get these things where like I obsess over like words or phrases and they go around in my head. And one of the things I'm obsessing over right now is that old guy who asked me if I was taking a selfie. I was like, no dude, I'm recording a video. Like, how old was that? That guy was like super old. And like, he must have been like, nailed it, like this guy's taking a selfie, like he learned this from his grandkids. And then like I'm like, no bro, I'm taking a video. Boop, boop. He's like, okay, well have a nice day. It was so funny. Anyway, I'm here at the side of the beach. All right, let's go have a conversation, boy. The question you gotta ask is like, why do you want an autism diagnosis? Like, people need to get an autism diagnosis if they need access to help and support that you would only get if you had a specific government kind of legal document that says, okay, this person has a condition and therefore they're entitled to this type of support. Now, in terms of like autism, there's a personal reason as well. Maybe you want to get you know, an autism diagnosis because it's something that you've explored and want to know if it's something that is impacting your life in a certain way. Because at the end of the day, all we have is what we know about ourselves, and that's how we self-explore. Now, personally, I think there's so many cons having an autism diagnosis if you're autistic, obviously, and there's some, you know, cons. I suppose the con is that like maybe it makes you more vulnerable if people know that you're autistic. Maybe it makes you more kind of, I don't know, more of an introvert. When people think that you're autistic, they put these predetermined ideas on you that like, oh, they can't do this, they can't do that, and blah blah blah. But it's always a self discovery thing, and it's definitely a choice that you have to make. So nobody can force you to have a diagnosis. I always support official autism diagnosis because I think like the more people who are diagnosed officially, the better. So without further ado, we're gonna go back to the car because I'm freezing and I have so much to do today. But autism diagnosis, pros and cons. Yeah, I think it's down to you guys as well. It's down to like, you know, is it something that you want in your life? Is it something that you need in your life? And also, if you can access the level of support that you need without a diagnosis, then what's the point of the diagnosis? Again, other than a personal thing. So, that being said, guys, let's get back in the Tesla, baby.